All right, guys. Welcome back to the show. So today I want to talk about paying your dues. Okay, so this is a huge part. We talk all about real estate. Obviously this is a real estate podcast, right? But there's so much more, and obviously as we interviewed with Richard Gonzalez, he talked about it, and I want to kind of touch on that as well. I think that, and if you haven't heard the episode, go back and look at it. But I think that paying your dues is such a big part and the mindset, right? And something he mentioned, you talk about the 80-20, right? The 20% of it's the real estate, the 80% is the mindset. But something that we run into a lot is individuals that don't want to pay their dues. We run this with agents, we run this with, people who want to learn real estate investing. And I feel like Misty and I, something we need to kind of talk about here and riff on a little bit is how important that is. So obviously when you start, something if, as a real estate investor, we'll kind of go there. If you're a real estate investor, even if you're a real estate agent and you don't have any deals that you're working on, you've got to be willing to drive and travel to wherever that is. If that means 30 minutes, an hour away, got to do it.
Yeah.
If you don't do that stuff, then what happens? You know what I mean? You need the experience, right?
You don't have any clients, so you're just sitting at home, looking at the computer. But I mean, even if they no show or it's way out of your comfort zone or you're driving a pretty far distance to go over there, what else are you going to be doing?
Yeah.
You
Nothing.
you don't have any other clients, so
Yeah, you have no
at least go
deals.
out
Yeah.
there and get the experience.
You have no deals, you have no clients, you have nothing. If you're investing or, whatever it is, or you're an agent, like you have no clients. I mean,
You're still trying to push and move yourself forward by going out and doing that activity, which will in return, bring stuff your way.
right. So experience expert or experience equals expert, right? One of the biggest things that Misty and I, we talk about all the time because I mean, it just chaps my ass. It pisses me off, man. When people say, I don't have the gas money. Oh, look at the gas. Oh man, that was a waste of my gas money. I don't have the gas money. Who cares about gas money? You should care more about the experience. Yes, maybe you got stood up by somebody that you were going to meet. They didn't show up, or you drove 30 minutes and they weren't there, or they totally forgot. But and you're like, oh, and so most people, they revert to that first thing of frustration. They're like, oh, I don't have any, especially in the beginning. Oh man, wasted my gas. No, you didn't. You should do what? Drive around the neighborhood.
Yep.
Go to the grocery store. Go eat somewhere. Go learn a little bit. If your gas money is the problem, you've got bigger problems, right? And the bigger problem is not going to be solved by penny pinching on your gas money. It's going to be solved by the experiences that you got. Because what if you ended up in a neighborhood that was a good one to invest in? What if you ended up in a neighborhood that if you're an agent, had some for sale by owners,
Yep.
right? Or even if you're an investor, had some for sale by owners. All you had to do is make a phone call. You don't waste your time. You build something out of that. And I see so many people complain about their gas money, and I can't stand that. I don't look at gas prices anymore. But even when I was 19, I still looked. I mean, I looked at gas prices. I didn't have any gas money, but I never complained or said I'm wasting my gas money. In fact, I think if anything, I drove around town a lot more and wasted my gas money looking at stuff.
Yeah.
But I never thought, oh man, I actually drove around like, oh man, I need more gas because I want to drive around more. I'm dreaming about what I want to do. Thinking about where I want to go. Trying to make stuff happen. Like, driving all over town to do deals or do this or do that or get a new client. Like, gas money was never a factor. I don't know. That always
Yeah.
frustrated me.
And I mean, if you're going to show a property and your client doesn't show up, at least tour the property, you might come up with some pictures or ideas to help push your business forward.
Right. So you got some social media you can do there.
Yep.
Whether you're a real estate investor or whether you're an agent, you can stop and do some take a picture. You're
Yep.
absolutely right. Take a picture. You hit it up with the thing. You're like, all right, hey guys, I'm out here doing such and such. And then people are like, oh man, so and so is investing. So and so is an agent. So you didn't waste your time. But now if you walk away and you go, man, fuck this is my gas money. You wasted all your time. You
Yeah.
wasted every bit of it. I get it. Frustration's going to happen, but you've got to
Turn it into a positive.
turn positive. And this right here, what we're talking about is paying your dues. You've got to pay the dues. It doesn't matter who you are. And some people don't want to pay those dues.
Yeah. If you have a lot of clients and they keep you busy and so you don't want to drive an hour, okay, that's understandable because that's not a good use of your time and energy. Somebody else is closer. But if you have no other clients, you need that experience and you need to move yourself forward. Just sitting and waiting for the ideal client is not going to happen. You're going to be sitting there for a while going broke. You need to get out there and do the activity
Yeah.
that's going to move you forward.
You got to spend the time.
Hmm.
You're going to spend the time. You're either going to spend time or money. Well, you ain't got no money. So you got to spend all the time. One
Hmm.
thing I like to talk about, especially I know with our agents and, just anyone we work with, whether it's, the agents of real estate investing, like it's experience. You've just got to go experience it, and you got to experience it as fast as you can. Like that goes through my head.
You can learn as much as you want and sit down and, go through reading everything, research, analyze, whatever. But until you get that experience,
Doesn't mean anything.
you have to know how to actually put it into motion and to go through the process. And so you might have one side of the equation, but you need both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, you're just sitting there. We used to call them hypotheses. I'll tell you that one. So,
You have the theory.
or Orlando, growing up trained jiu-jitsu. Orlando, we had this guy that trained. No joke. We had this guy that trained jiu-jitsu, and he would sit there, and he would never actually train. He wouldn't roll. And for those of you guys that don't do jiu-jitsu, rolling is at the end where you get to try to choke your friends live, like you're trying to stop each other, right? So he would just learn the technical part,
You
and
do the
then
drilling.
he'd do the drilling, like learn the technical part, and then he would get done, and then he'd sit down on the mat, and then he would coach everybody. And I was probably a purple or brown belt at the time, and I'm rolling with, I've got obviously, I'm training with my buddy Alvarez and some few other people, and we just hear this guy coaching, and Orlando would call him hypotheses. It's like the dude had nothing but hypothesis, all about what to do. It was all theory and no action. He didn't want to experience the ass whooping it was going to take. Because in order to get better, that's what I love about jiu-jitsu. In order to get better, you got to take the ass whooping, right? And it's the same concept. You have to pay your dues to get better. You got to pay your dues, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's swimming, whether it's running, whether it's whatever. You don't just get out there and throw your running shoes on and you're like, I did a couple miles. Like, no, if you've been off the couch,
You got to build your way up to
you
that.
gotta build your way up to that. Man, I can tell you from
You
personal
got to
experience.
stretch first.
Yeah. Actually, don't stretch first. You stretch afterwards. I don't know if you have heard that one. So, but no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you got to get out there. So, you definitely, you got to take the ass whooping. You got to pay the dues. And if you're not willing to do that, just quit. I'm not to be funny, but just quit. There's nothing left for you if you're not willing to do that. You got to find something that you are willing to take the ass whooping for. And I call it take the ass whooping and paying the dues because that's just what it is. That's the way that I grew up. It was like, hey, you got to make sure that, that you're taking that stuff. Otherwise, you might as well just stop because it's just going to be painful. And there's, and on top of that, what most people do when it comes to paying their dues, they try to find the secret way around it. That's what they do. They're like, I'm going to find that way around. I'm going to see if there's got to be a magical formula to get around these dues. Guess what? There's not a magical formula. Put the work in, get your ass, in gear and just get going. You got to pay your dues.
Dive in.
You got to dive in. There's no magical formula. And I can tell you just from experience, I know I've done that. Have you ever done that? Try to find that magical way? Have you?
Yeah.
Maybe. I know I sure as hell did.
Oh, I know you have.
I did in the beginning on numerous stuff. And I'd have a mentor tell me, there's just no magical way, man. You got to get it together. I'm like, all right, cool. But it didn't take me long to figure out I got to get it together. It just, but I would at least give it a shot. Like, but I can tell you if you listen to me or follow me or do anything we're doing, there ain't no magical way, and no matter what you do, you got to pay the dues, take the ass whooping. There's no magical route. Now, are there things that can help you along the way? Yes. And the only way you learn those is through the experience.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the experience, it doesn't matter. Got to have that part. So take the ass whooping, guys, pay your dues, and you'll be successful. We'll catch you guys next time.